I'd been working for the same company for 15 years, and I was 15 years away from retirement. That seemed like a terrible option for me. So I was looking at what can I do. My health was getting bad. I have issues, doesn't matter what. So I get a small, very small disability check from the Navy. It's maxed out at a very unfortunately low and incorrect rating, but it's maxed out nonetheless. So I was looking at staying in the U.S., working for another 15 years, and then retiring. I knew for years I wanted to come to either the Philippines or Thailand. I wasn't sure exactly which one, and I wasn't sure when. When my kids moved out, once they were grown, I was a single dad for many years. Once my kids moved out, I found myself with a lot of time and a lot of money. And I should have kept working and just banked a whole lot of money for a few years. But I didn't like that idea. So I quit my job, sold my house, gave away my car, and here I am. 5 years later, still here, still not retired. Yeah, I could write a book on how not to retire to the Philippines. I'm still a year and a half away from my first retirement. Luckily, I have 3 waiting for me, so as they come in over the years, they will be my inflation hedge. But because I did not work long enough, I quit work at 48, they will all be small, but they add up, so it's okay. I knew for years I wanted to retire to Southeast Asia. I fell in love with it back in the Navy days, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And my short list was pretty much Philippines, Thailand. If I were doing it now, I would add Cambodia and Vietnam to my short list and look into those as well. But some of the major things I was looking at was Thailand is more Buddhist, Philippines is more Catholic. Buddhists make more sense to me. So I was leaning real heavily towards Thailand. But when you get over here, they're pretty laid back. They don't care. They've got all their own voodoo stuff added into it, and it's a weird mix of Catholicism, which helps. It does. I don't mean any offense by that, but that's just the way it is. Here you will find more English. Thailand reminds me more of like Japan and Korea. In the cities, around the tourist areas, you get English. You get up into the smaller towns and villages, forget it. There were many times in Japan and Korea where up in the mountains, up at a restaurant, you had to go outside and point at the plastic food in the window and say, I want that. You know, it's just, they don't speak it. Here, they teach it at school, but if they don't use it, they forget it. But you can find someone. In the cities, it's easy. When you get out into the province, it gets a little more difficult. But after being here, I find that English really was a lot more important than I gave it credit for. It'd be really difficult being in a small town. In Thailand, I would have to have stayed in a city. I would have to have stayed near English speakers, just because Thai is a very difficult language to learn, and I am terrible at languages. But English was one of the concerns. The main reason I picked the Philippines over Thailand was the ease of visa. The tourist visa here is simple. It is so easy. You pay your fees on time, you're good. You stay up to 3 years, you leave, you come right back, do another 3 years. You can do that forever. The tourist visa here is easy. So I just hit my 5-year anniversary of moving here to the Philippines. I'm very comfortable here. I feel accepted by everyone here. making friends with the neighbors, and things are going good. And it feels like I just got here. And then other times it feels like I've always been here. So it's kind of, you get an odd mix.
In 5 years, I've only gone back to the U.S. once, and that was in 2014. So it's been not quite 4 years ago. And even then, it felt odd going back because it felt like I was there on vacation. It wasn't like going home. When I came back to the PIs, that was like coming home. I was with my friends and family in Texas, and it was great. I was there for my daughter's wedding. We had a great time. But it felt like I was there as a visitor. And I can only imagine the longer you stay here, the longer you stay away from the old country, the more out of place you'll feel going back. Maybe if I went back more often, that wouldn't be the case. But I've been here so long now, I want to go back for a visit, but that's definitely all it would be, is just a visit.
Been kind of losing touch with friends and family. Not on purpose, but just because life goes on. Out of sight, out of mind. So I don't call them a lot, they don't call me a lot. When we do talk, it's good. It's not like anybody's mad at anyone. We have our own lives to lead, and they're a little different. If you're thinking of coming over, come for vacation. I cannot stress that enough. I did it. I've been over here a couple times. I had memories of my Navy days, which are completely different than the real world, but they were good memories. And then I wanted to know, what's it really like? Not on vacation mode, but like to live. So I came. I only had 2 weeks because I was working, so I didn't want to come for any less time than that because it's such a long flight. It's an expensive flight. It's almost 30 hours between your layovers and checking in, and two long flights. It was very long. So I wanted to stay for a couple of weeks. I went to Cebu because that was pretty much where I decided to stay. It's big, but it's not Manila big. A lot of people start in Cebu, then you branch out from there and look around and find someplace, Bohol, Dumaguete, whatever. So I went there, was spending a lot of time walking the streets. I didn't take taxis very much. I was out in the neighborhoods, walking up and down the streets, going down the little alleyways, trying the street food, just talking to people, getting a feel for the neighbors, getting a feel for the city, and really trying to think, could I live here? I vacationed in Mexico a lot because from Texas, it's real easy to get to Mexico. And in all the times I'd vacation there, I had a good time and I enjoyed it. Never once considered living there. And when later people were asking me, why didn't you go? I just had to think about it and really look at just the way it feels and the way you're treated. It's not bad, but it did not feel like home. It didn't feel like someplace I would stay. Great vacations, but it just didn't feel like a place to live for me. Other people live there and they love it. When I was here, I was in Cebu, I went around, was talking to people, visiting a lot, talking to shop owners and just trying to get to know people. And it felt like someplace I could live. I was like, yeah, I could do this. I ended up not in Cebu because I met Melanie and she's from Panay Island, and so we're over here in Iloilo. It's about the same. Manila's bigger, but it's about the same. Every place I've been here is pretty much, and I don't mean this in a bad way, everything's pretty much like border town Mexico. If you've ever been to a border town Mexico, you know what to expect here. But make sure and come here and see for yourself, because I've known a few guys that come over here, they quit their job, they sell their house, they get rid of all their stuff, they move over here having never been here. And within 6 months, they're back in the U.S. because they realized for them it's a good place to visit, but it's not where they want to live. Some of them had bought houses, they bought cars, they got married, and then left. They take their wife back if they can, but if you're not making any money, you got to show immigration that you got money to bring your wife over. So it's just come over here first. I know one guy that came over here, and I was asking him, I was like, he was telling me he'd never been here. I was like, you'd never been to the Philippines when you just moved? He goes, I'd never been on an airplane before. I was like, oh my God, really? I mean, never been anywhere and just up and moved. Now see, to me, that's a brave or crazy move. For me to come over here, it wasn't that big a deal because I've traveled so much over the years. I've been here, I've been all over Southeast Asia. I've traveled a lot, and I knew a little more what to expect. I know how I am in new places and around new people. A lot of people get over here and they can't let go of how it's supposed to be, you know. Quotes, how it's supposed to be in the old country. We do things this way. We do things better. Why are y'all? You can't bring that attitude here. Just can't do it. You've got to be able to go with the flow, pretty much let stuff slide. Some things work well here, some things don't. You're going to find that pretty much any country. You're just used to the one you're used to. So a lot of people get over here and they can't adjust. And they leave. Others are here. They got wives, they got kids, or a wife and kids, and they can't leave. They don't have enough money. They can't go back to work. So they're kind of stuck here, don't like it. Then they get really miserable. You don't want to end up that way. Life's too short to be miserable. So I'm over here having a good time. I've enjoyed it. When we first got here, we traveled quite a bit. But I wasn't doing YouTube videos when I first got here. So I was doing my blog. I got some pictures and posted on my blog, but I didn't do a lot of videos. We went to Mambucal. It's a inland resort. It's on a mountain. You climb up the mountain to 7 different waterfalls. They've got a lake. They've got camping. They've got cabins. It's a beautiful place over around Bacolod. It's just gorgeous. And we went there and I videoed. And it's one of the only of our early trips that actually got on video. The rest of it was all just pictures, and I posted on my blog. It is my most viewed video because it's a popular place and people are looking for it, so they get searched a lot. Mostly by Filipinos, according to the analytics on YouTube. So we did do a lot of traveling when I first got here. Don't have a lot of videos of it. Sorry, such is life. We don't travel as much now because we got the house, we're comfortable, we're lazy. And pretty much everywhere you go, I mean, it's nice, but it all's kind of the same. The people are the same, the culture. I mean, it's the most homogenous country I've ever lived in. So I travel some, but not a lot. The waterfalls are great. We had great waterfalls in Hawaii. And, the beaches are great, but one beach looks very much like another. So we go to Boracay if you want a big beach with the shopping and restaurants and all that, because you're not going to do any better than that. It's the only Philippine beach that's still in the top 25 in the world, according to TripAdvisor. They just released their new list recently, and White Beach Boracay is number 24. They're barely in the top 25, but they're still there. And it's the only beach in the country that's on their list. Other websites make lists. other beaches do get on. So the Philippines does get listed because they do have some beautiful beaches. But I live so close to that one, why do I need to fly to another island to see a beach? So we don't travel as much now.
Overall, it has been a really good, really fun, positive 5 years. And I appreciate all of you that have taken this journey with me. I want to give a big thanks to all the subscribers, all the supporters. It's really been nice. I would love for some of y'all to come on over here if you decide it's for you. If you do come on over, look me up. We'll go get some lunch somewhere. I can show you around Iloilo. Enjoy your day in paradise.